Welcome to What on Earth Am I Doing podcast. So what gave me the title for my podcast, and why am I not going to be conventional in the way that you experience the podcast? My life is not very cookie cutter. There are lots of labels you can give me, but I don't really fit perfectly in any of those label boxes, if you will. A way to describe, I don't know. You know how a line is like many points? I'm a many pointed line. So I don't know if that's really a thing to be said, but I'm a many pointed line. While you can see this line, the line may not be perfectly straight. Sometimes it goes. But on that line, there are many points. And that line is the life of Karis and all the weird things that are included in that. I grew up with a friend. I grew up with a friend who, when we were growing up, so we used to go to Colorado every other summer, because that's where like our staff conference was, and I would go rollerblading with my homegirl, and I had so much fun, the best memories, and the most independence. We were in Fort Collins, Colorado. Amazing times and amazing memories. First job there, first like official job, like because I was a sitter before, but official job was there. Some of my best friends. I ran into a pole there once in front of the guy that I had a crush on. I still don't know if he ever finds this. I'm pretty sure he's married and has a whole life now, but if he ever finds this, I was head over heels for him, for you, sir. So, and I ran into a pole in front of you, and that's fine. But anyway, my homegirl Danielle, she used to talk about being weird, because she used to say, oh yeah, we're weird. And what she said is, weird just means different. And it was such a simple thing, and she has no idea how much it profoundly changed my life. I am in my 30s now, and this like, preteen self, teen or preteen, I can't remember how old we were, but young self was 100% like. But this quote has stayed with me for over 20 years now. Probably over 20 years. I don't know how long it's been. And the reality is weird just means different. And that's what I am. I am very weird. And I want to call myself weird, but I don't call myself weird as a put down. I view it as who I am, and I love it about me. And Danielle, girl, you gave me that when we were kids. So, and I never really stepped into that well. Lots of insecurities, lots of processes in that. But really, this podcast is about being weird. It's about being weird and being comfortable with the uncomfortable things. The way that my life turned out, I can't go into this all the way right now. But the way that my life ended up turning out is I do things way different than what they were modeled for me as. And not way different, but definitely different than what they were modeled for me as. I grew up in a two-parent home. My parents are missionaries. Excuse me. My parents were missionaries, and they worked with college students. They did a whole bunch of stuff that was really great, and I love them for it. My parents were professionals. My dad had the ability to be an engineer, but decided to go into life with Jesus in a different way. I don't know why. But every time I think about that, it makes me a little sad on the inside, because when you think about engineers, people got money, right? Their parents got money. Like their parents, like their kids, they grow up comfortably. We did not grow up comfortably. Now let me take that back. We grew up comfortably because my parents were excellent with their money. However, we did not grow up in excess at all. It's not like I had the latest and greatest anything. Except for on occasion when my parents would find a way, or there would be a gift, or God would take care of us in a really insane way. I haven't decided if I'm going to call God, or the universe on this podcast. But I'm not going to lie. I mean the same thing. God is God to me, and I know which God I believe in. Not which God. I don't know how to say this well without offending somebody, so I'm just going to stop saying it. But whatever way I decide to refer to the greater being, I mean the same one. Even if I use a different word. Again, get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Because at the end of the day, See, this is so if you're a Lion and the Witch in the Wardrobe person, this is stupid, but I'm gonna say it anyway. If you're a Lion and the Witch in the Wardrobe person, book series I read as a child and loved it. Read the entire thing from a book, the Magician's Nephew, to I can't remember the name of the last one, but if you remember it, comment it or something. Read the entire Chronicles, and still go back and revisit it because there's so many lessons in there. But at the end of the last book, spoiler, what the book series addresses at one point is that there are different people who grow up in different faiths and things like that and are never exposed to Aslan in the book. They're never exposed to Aslan. They only know whatever idol that they were exposed to. But those who worshipped and followed in heart the teachings that they were taught well, and not in a hateful way, not in the all the other ways that are possible to follow religion, not in a religious way, there we go, but in a way that truly was their heart was turned towards God or the higher power in the book, then they still, the higher power knew them. And it was addressed very directly in the book, and it was so beautiful. And I will never forget that scene, even if I forgot the book. But and that's really why I go a little unconventional. If you know me in person, you know what rituals I choose to practice when I am worshiping. However, I know where I find those instructions. I know exactly where I find the instructions of who my Lord is. And I know how I came to know him. I know whose life I follow, because that's, his son and all that. So, I believe all those things. But also comfortable with the uncomfortable. As a child, I was very aware of the fact that we had a very big world. And that there's just some people who will never know who Jesus is, who will never hear the name of Jesus, which was so mind-boggling to me as a child. Because I was just like, how do we get this good news out to people? I don't know how. And because my parents were missionaries, so I had the opportunity, and I'm so grateful for this. I had the opportunity to travel and go on missions trips abroad. I did not just know the place where I grew up. It was a great thing, and it was also a pullback because that meant I never had a summer to myself, and that's fine. And I'm grateful now. But as a child, I was like, why? All my friends are doing all these other things, and I want to do that. It's so crazy, the things that I didn't realize I was getting. I'm so grateful for. Because I was well traveled when I was young. I didn't need to go out and figure that out as an adult. Now, don't get me wrong, I still traveled as an adult, but I wasn't shocked by the world around me. And I'm just grateful for that. That was probably one of the best gifts my parents gave me as a child, is that they were doing what was right before the Lord, and they were very sincere about that. But they exposed me to things beyond my little square on the earth, in good old Florida. Super grateful for that, and because of that, I have a different perspective. Now, I very sincerely believe in the Bible and every single word in it. I'll be upfront and clear about that right now. Very sincerely believe in the Bible and every word in it. But because I believe in the Bible and every word in it, I know for a fact that God examines our hearts. And so as a child, the way that I reconcile the fact that some people would never, ever see a Bible, touch a Bible, read a Bible, nothing, would never, ever know who Jesus is. I trusted the scripture that says God examines the heart. That's what he's looking at, is the heart, not what you read. I also this is still a crazy story to me. One of my friends, now I don't remember exact. I was like 8 when I heard the story. I had a huge crush on this dude too. I had so many crushes growing up. It's wild. One of my favorite stories growing up was, or one of my brother's friends. He came back from college, so I had to be. Let's see, there's 7 years between me and that brother. So he came back from college when he was like 19, 20-ish. So I had to be like 13. So his friend, who, I don't know if it was his friend. Now I'm questioning everything. I don't remember, y'all. This is from my memory, and my memory is dramatically flawed. Especially later, we'll get into some stuff that I've been through. So my memory is not 100%. I can't remember now if this was a story that my brother's homeboy told, or if this is something that happened on a stage somewhere. Either way, it was a first-hand account from the person I originally heard it from. So this is why you need to do research, because I can't remember who this is from. And I'm going to just be full disclosure. Cannot remember. This person had a family member who, like, missions trip, they like delivered Bibles. This person could not read that Bible at all, whatsoever. Because it was not written in their language. They didn't know how to read. I don't remember all the details of the story. But I know that that person picked up that Bible and understood it. And so for me, it's hard for me not to believe in higher power knowing that story. I can't remember the details of the story, but the details of the story were so not significant to me. What was most significant to me is the impact of the story, the heart of the story, which is what God looks at. And I trust that. And I love that about God. So all that said, that's a whole lot of ways of saying that scripture says that God looks at the heart, and that's what I trust. So, again, thank you for being here. Let's get comfortable with the uncomfortable. Let's think outside the box. Let's not think outside the box in terms of right and wrong, because what's wrong is wrong and what's right is right. But let's think outside the box, and let's consider, let's look at the heart of the matter. Like, that's where it is. And let's ask, what on earth am I doing here? So I said I was going to share what on earth am I doing here each episode moment. So that was a lot of precursor to this story. I'm going to go as far back as I can think. So talking about how much I love sharing the gospel. The gospel means good news. Sharing the good news. I like sharing the good news, period. The good news that people are fully loved, fully accepted, and fully cherished exactly as they are. And that doesn't mean that there's not a growth process after that, but exactly how you are, exactly how you're created, exactly everything you feel, everything you think, everything that is you, my darling. Every bit of that is fully loved and cherished. Does that mean there's not ways to grow? Absolutely not. That does not mean that there's no way. Like, everybody needs to, if you're not growing, I don't know what you're doing. Like, period. Like, that seems like a boring life, unfortunately. So that's not living to me. To me, that's not living. If you're not growing, you're not living to me. And I'm getting used to, if somebody's offended by something I say, then deal. But I'm going to get there. So just give me some time. But if you're not growing, I just don't see how you're living. So, and I don't see what productivity you feel in life. Even if you're in a depression right now, like, there's a growth in that depression. That even if it's literally waking up in the morning, you have, every morning you wake up is you're growing and learning to get up. Bro, like, let's get credit, kudos for getting up this morning, even if you're depressed, even if you are a loathsome human being by many standards. You're figuring it out. And I pray for you, my friend, like, that you would figure it out. Even if you have no idea what you're doing on this earth. you're growing. You're like, I have no idea what I'm doing. Even acknowledging that is a growth. So lots of growing and living. And I'm still growing and living. I'm sure lots of things will change about this podcast as I progress even. But you are truly loved and cherished exactly as you are. And that's what I'd love to share that good news. So when I was in third grade, my mom pulled me out of school because I was having a hard time kind of navigating who I am in my school. So I was a minority and one of the we didn't integrate our school by any means. But in elementary school, I grew up in a very, an excellent school system, but also some challenges in it. There were not very many people who looked like me. There were definitely not very many people who looked like me and were doing what my parents did. And there were definitely not people who looked like me who were doing what my parents did, who had as many siblings as I had, because there were 6 of us total, and I only had 1 sister. And they were from the same mama and daddy. There were also definitely not people who were growing up like me, all the things that I've said already, and that were at the same income level as my family, and then that were also at the same, that were experiencing the same challenges. And what I'm dancing around is that people were pretty racist when I grew up. Our neighborhood was redlined until recently, before my family moved in. Now there was another family that looked like us that moved in, that stayed, but not very many families had stayed. And my family experienced some of those realities of why they did not stay. And because of that, there were a lot of challenges. And my mom was like, I'm going to take this girl out real quick so that she can know who she is at home first before she worries about what all these other people are thinking about. Because I was starting to find my identity in what other people thought of me and what other people thought about me instead of what God said about me. An ongoing theme. So my mom homeschooled me, and I really wanted 2 things. One, I had recently come to know the Lord myself. And like a genuine heart change was like, let me try to live my life according to what God says to do. And I I missed my friends too. So, and I was like, Mama, how do we tell these people this? So we started a Good News Club where I invited friends, over a variety of friends over to learn about Jesus. And we just talked about Jesus. I don't remember how much we met or how often we met. I don't know how it fizzled out because eventually we stopped meeting. I just don't remember how that all went down. As a parent now, I recognize that my mother probably redirected me after it started fizzling. But I had a friend who would come over, and her mother ended up coming to know the Lord in that situation. That became one of my best friends. To this day, I still count her as one of my best friends. We don't talk very much, but or I don't know if we talked within a year, but I really don't talk to very many of my friends very often at all. But she was a lifelong friend, and I believe that we'll reconnect again, So all that said, that's one of the moments I asked, what on earth am I doing? As a 9 years old when all that happened. And Lord, I just want to tell people about Jesus and that they're loved and cherished. And Jesus does the work after that. But I just want people to know that there's good news out here. That as much suffering as there is in the world, that there's good news. So, and that's how I live my life today. I can say that for sure, with certainty. Enjoy being comfortable with the uncomfortable and loving people who people don't know how to love at all. Sorry, my eyes. Who people don't know how to love at all. That's what I enjoy. And I enjoy being fully myself too. Because God made me pretty awesome. And there's some traumas and dramas involved in that. But God made each of us pretty awesome. So, I hope you know that. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a great day. Make sure you check out each of the episodes, whatever's available right now. Go and check it out right now. So, thanks for being here.